Hello, hey, hi, welcome back to another video. Today I want to go through my goals of 2026. Now, I didn't do this last year. I didn't really have many goals for 2025, at least in regards to my crochet/knitting or this channel, because this channel didn't exist. Well, it did, but I wasn't posting. 2025 was huge. I moved up to the Upper Peninsula. I got into grad school. I started this YouTube channel, which has been amazing. I opened up my shop, started selling some of my items, which is absolutely amazing. Thank you to anyone who's checked out my store. If you want to check it out, link is down below. But yeah, 2025 was quite a year. It was both great and also not so great, and I think that sentiment is very true for a lot of other people as well. This is the time of year that people reflect on the last year, what they want to change, how they can do better, and how to set themselves up for that in the new year. Of course, you can do that anytime, but this is just a good time to do so. It's a good chapter point, I think, for a lot of people. So yeah, this video might be a little short. I apologize for that, but I felt like this needed to be a dedicated video and that I didn't want to wrap it up into something else because I have some kind of bigger themed ideas coming up rather than just a week in my life, and what I create in that time. So let's get on to my goals for 2026. I have 6 that are related to knitting, crochet / this channel. Obviously I have other ones, but they're more of my personal life. So let's go ahead and get started with my goals for 2026. My very first goal is to use up as much of my stash as possible. There's a thing that people say, right? That you're a crafter and you're a hoarder. Not actually a hoarder, but you like to craft and that's one hobby, and then the other hobby is actually buying the yarn. That a lot of people have very large stashes, or that, collecting yarn is a thing. And that's totally fine and that's cool. I definitely have some skeins in my stash that I feel some kind of attachment to, or, it's really precious and it's my one skein and therefore, I can't use it because, then it's gone, or the yarn is discontinued and then, that's the only thing you have left of your favorite yarn. But for me, I want it gone. I want a restart, I want a refresh of my stash, I want to clear out my shelves and refill them with new yarn that I'm actually excited to use. Now, I don't have a crazy huge stash. I have a 6 cube organizer and 2 of them, and they are totally full of yarn. But I have a bunch of stuff in there that is recent that I'm really excited to use, and then a bunch of stuff that I honestly don't know how it ended up in my stash. I don't know what it is or how it got there. I don't know what to do with it. So I'd like to come up with creative ways to use up my entire stash and not buy any new yarn until I have 0 skeins left. I know that sounds pretty crazy, but that is kind of my goal. That's what I want. I want to use up all of my yarn so that whenever I do go and buy new yarn to replenish my stash, I know what I have, I'm excited to use it, and I don't feel like I'm avoiding certain areas of my stash because I don't know what it is, I don't know how I got it, so I kind of put it in a tote and forget about it. I want to actually be excited to use the things that I have. And buy things. I'm pretty good about buying yarn with a project in mind, but whether or not that project actually happens is a different story. So a lot of the yarn that I know that I bought, I remember buying, I remember a specific project I had, I just have never gotten around to it. So that's kind of my first goal, is to use up all of my stash, and hopefully by the end of the year, at some point, I will have 0 skeins left, or I will be on my way to having 0 skeins left. My second goal is to actually make items for me. And a part of that is to actually wear those items. A lot of the projects that I make, I'm like, ooh, that's really cool, and then I make it, but it's not necessarily for me. that's how I ended up with the big box of things that is now up on my website, because I made them and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't for me. So I want to actually make more clothing items for me to actually wear and be excited to wear. And then along with that is I want to actually wear the items that I do make. I have some projects that I have made for myself that I just never wear. They sit in my closet and they just kind of collect dust or in a tote somewhere. And I actually want to be more comfortable with actually wearing the items that I've made. And so as I'm making those items, I actually start wearing them and put them into the circulation of my wardrobe. Which kind of brings me into my third goal, which is to not be afraid to frog a project. There are a bunch of things that I have made for myself that I don't like the way that they fit me. And so then I don't want to frog because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just spent all of that time making this and I don't want to take it out whenever I messed up like near the armpits or the collar or whatever where I started, or it ends up being a little bit too small. I'm going to have to frog the whole thing to make it a size smaller, which is hours worth of work, and so then I don't want to. But the problem is if I don't frog it, then I never wear it. So I need to be okay with ripping out progress if it means I'll actually wear something. Or if I'm not liking the colors, rip it out so I can use the yarn for something that I actually will wear or will enjoy better than what I was doing previously. Yeah, kind of along with that, I found a lot of like projects on like Ravelry or online of like sweater patterns. So that's really what I have in my list next, is a lot of sweater patterns. So hopefully I can get those done before the end of winter. Luckily I'm in a place that the winter lasts pretty much until the end of April. So I have about 4 months to make all of my wintry items and get that out and be ready for summer. I can say shoveling is a workout. It is a lot. I'm in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and the amount of snow from the lake effect is actually crazy. Like, I grew up with snow, but like, I swear, I'm in a perpetual snow globe. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, patterns for sweaters and stuff I have listed in my notes, and specific yarn that I have in my stash for those specific projects. And so yeah, I need to actually use up my stash, make my items that I want to wear, and actually make them so that I will actually wear them. Those are kind of all intertwined somehow, but are different goals, but they somehow relate to each other. Good? Okay. Halfway through. And there's one more that relates to like me specifically in the projects that I'm going to make, is keeping a journal. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I have lots of journals for different things. I have like this old bullet journal that I just keep a lot of like notes for like day-to-day things, but I wanted one that was specifically for my projects. So this is kind of, I've been keeping notes in here as well as another journal that I also have, but that's like, that journal's a little too big for what I want, and it has a lot more of like patterns that I like need step-by-step instructions that I've written down because it's a much bigger size. Whereas this journal I want to keep for this year for things that I've made and specific notes on other people's patterns, where that one is for like, I'm going on the wings of things and I need to write it down because I'm not following a pattern. This is both that and then also the things that I make without a pattern. Just kind of, I want to keep track of when I start a project, when I end, if it was knit or crochet, obviously the name of the pattern and who it's by, the yarn that I use, the needles, and then any notes that might have been like different from the pattern. And I have 2 so far that I've finished this year actually. One was a striped cat ear beanie that I made for my fiance. I just whipped it out one night because he was like, oh, I want a cat ear beanie, and I was like, okay. And then the next one is a granny stitch sweater, which is actually my next video. So stay tuned for next week and you'll see this. And I had to make some adjustments. So there's my notes on the pattern. I also have a spot in here for, I called it Next on the Needles. Just kind of the patterns that I want to do and then what yarn associated with my stash that will be for. I have a few more I want to add on here that I haven't had time to write down, but this is my next goal for the next year, is to keep a journal of all of my makes, and so that if I want to make it again, I remember how long it took me, what kind of yarn I used, and any other notes that I have. A lot of people will say like, oh, well, why don't you use like Ravelry or something? And I like that idea. However, I am not good at keeping up with things online. I tend to forget about it, that I have to, you know, go to a website, whereas this I can just take with me and jot down some notes really quick. I also just like to have things in a very physical form. Let me know if you also keep a journal of your projects, and or at least like how long it's taken you to make them. Some projects go by really fast for me, and then other ones I feel like take months. So I think it's going to be interesting to kind of keep track of that in kind of a more formal way, and just kind of see what I tend to do most often. I'm not really sure. I just kind of go with the flow with most of my makes. And so for this year, I have a list of things that I want to make with the yarn so far. And I think that's going to be good for me to actually keep track of things and not start things on a whim and then lose steam halfway through. You should see the pile of whips in my closet. My next goals kind of relate to this channel and my quote-unquote business. I wouldn't really classify myself as a small business, as I am not that much of a business at this point. I'm just doing this for fun. I'm not making any profit on this. This is more of just a journey for me, really. But I still have goals to kind of pertain to this. And my first one is to post at least one video per week on this YouTube channel, which I've been doing pretty well until December, which is very crazy for me. There's Christmas, and then there's 3 birthdays in my just immediate family, like not including like aunts and cousins. Like my dad, my brother, and me are all in December for birthdays. So December gets really busy really fast, plus also I was in the middle of finals and everything, so December was really busy. So I think I missed 1 week and I was late on another week, so for that I apologize. But my goal for 2026 is to be better prepared and to post 1 video per week, or by the end of the year have posted 52 videos. That's my goal. I feel pretty good about accomplishing that. I've been doing really well. I started in September, the end of September, I think, beginning of September, sometime in there. And I had a really good streak, and so yeah, I feel pretty good about that, and I'm really excited to kind of see where this year takes me on my YouTube journey. I've really enjoyed vlogging, actually. Doing the whole vlogging is really pushing me in my crafting goals. Obviously it's still a hobby, but I definitely feel more inclined to do it, which is good because I love it. I love knitting, I love crocheting, I love being crafty. And sometimes you just get into a slump where you don't want to do anything and you just want to rot in bed. Maybe that's my brain, but this is really helping me not do that and actually work on the things that I enjoy and actually do them. And that has been really nice and really lovely. And kind of is a purpose, you know, it's giving my hand something to do, and it's been really, really nice. So thank you for coming along with this journey. I have really had a good time so far, so I want to keep up the momentum and continue on into 2026. And hopefully in the later years as well. This is my last goal, number 6, is to sell some items on my shop. I've noticed some of you have come and look at my shop, and that I greatly appreciate. However, the box of things is still in my closet, and I still want them gone. I'm thinking maybe I should reduce some of my prices because honestly, like I'm not looking for profit. I'm just looking to get rid of these things because I just don't want them. They are taking up space from my stash, and I would like them to be gone. So that is my goal. Whether or not I will continue to sell things that I make, I'm not really sure, especially because one of my earlier goals was to make more things for myself. I think that's just kind of gonna depend on how things turn out. For now, I'm only making things for myself. Later on in the year, maybe I'll continue to put things online. I'm not really sure yet. I just know that these things have to go and be out of my hands. So yeah, sorry if this was a shorter video, but I felt like it needed to be its own separate video and not wrapped up into anything. So yeah, I'm excited for what 2026 has in store, but let me know what kind of goals you guys have for 2026, what kind of crafty goals you have, as little or small. Finish that one whip that's been sitting in the back of your closet. If it's like me and make more things for yourself. I know I did a lot of gifts in December, which was really nice. I really enjoyed that, and my family seemed to as well, which was really awesome. But now I have a bunch of projects in mind that I want to make for me. So yeah, let me know your goals for 2026. If you are also trying to make more things for yourself, keeping a journal, if you are using up all of your stash or something that I haven't even thought of here, maybe I might add it to my goals for 2026 as well. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you liked it, make sure you like it. Subscribe so that you don't miss my next upload, and take a look at some of the other ones that I've uploaded in the last few months. I think you'll like them. If you like this one, you might like those ones. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.